If this reached you, a shadow frequency has already brushed your field. Stop. It didn't pass unnoticed. It didn't move freely. It was detected. It was contained before it could spread. You're not standing at the beginning of a warning. You're standing after an intervention. The Arcturians stepped in the moment your timeline shifted. This wasn't random. This wasn't a coincidence. This was activation.
Mission does not activate around fear. Mission activates at the turning point of a timeline. And the moment the shadow frequency touched your field, that turning point arrived. Your mission came online the instant it was detected, not because you needed saving, but because you were ready to step into the role of a frequency holder. A shadow frequency is not a dark entity. It is a distorted band of energy, a warped echo of a higher frequency that clings to the field when alignment falters. It has no will, no intention, no personality. It behaves like a ripple that lost its original shape, searching for a host whose sensitivity can reveal it. This is why it touched you, not to harm you, but because your field was capable of exposing it. And once exposed, the Arcturians intervened. They did not respond to danger. They responded to readiness. Field, frequency, distortion, shadow, 4 layers of one event your soul recognized before your mind did. This was never an attack. This was a summons. A mission does not revolve around demons. It revolves around frequency. And to understand what brushed your field, you must understand what a shadow frequency truly is. It is not a dark entity stalking your timeline. It is not a being with intention, will, or desire. It is a distortion, an echo of energy that has fallen out of alignment with its original tone, shaped by collective fear, inherited wounds, and the memory of unprocessed experience. It is a reflection that has forgotten the light it came from. Shadow frequency begins where purity bends. Imagine a high-frequency note moving through layers of human experience trauma, confusion, generational conditioning, collective panic. Even the brightest tone warps when it passes through enough density. And when it bends, it casts a shadow, not because the tone becomes evil, but because the clarity becomes blurred. A shadow is not an intruder. It is a distortion waiting to be recognized. Field, layer, imprint, shadow, 4 stages of one event inside your energy system. Your field is the living atmosphere of your being, the multi-dimensional space where sensation, memory, and intuition communicate. Your layers hold the residues of what you've lived and what you've absorbed from the world. Your imprints are the moments life leaves a mark, and shadow forms when those marks accumulate without being integrated or witnessed. It is energy that has drifted out of alignment and now moves as an echo without direction. 1. A shadow frequency is the warped remnant of a much higher original frequency. It begins as something luminous, but bends under the pressure of fear and collective distortion until it no longer resembles its source. 2. It attaches to your field the way a subtle filter attaches to a lens. It doesn't shout, scream, or declare itself. It colors perception quietly. Every thought, every sensation, every intuitive signal passes through it and is slightly altered. 3. It does not seek the weak. It seeks the sensitive. A shadow frequency chooses a host who can feel the difference between truth and distortion, because detection is the first step toward release. This is why people often believe something is wrong with them when a shadow frequency is present. They sense interference. They sense heaviness without explanation. They sense doubt appearing at the exact moment clarity is rising. Not because a dark entity is attacking them, but because their system is outgrowing the distortion that once blended in unnoticed. A shadow frequency behaves like a stalled reflection. It repeats the same emotional loop long after the original event has passed. It mimics your voice, but lacks your soul. It echoes your fears, but never your wisdom. It feels personal, but it is not personal. It is the residue of an old frequency trying to remain relevant inside a field that is becoming more aligned. This is why the Arcturians never call it a dark entity. Entities act. Entities move. Entities choose targets. A shadow frequency chooses nothing. It merely clings until the host rises high enough to see it clearly. It is not an invader. It is a distortion illuminated by your sensitivity. You are not being haunted. You are not under attack. You are experiencing an energetic phenomenon that appears only when a soul is reaching a threshold of readiness. The presence of shadow means your field is beginning to vibrate too clearly for distortion to hide. And when something can no longer hide, it can finally be released. Activation command. Shadow is not a monster. Type this exactly. I do not fear the shadow frequency. I see its origin. A mission does not activate on a random timeline. It activates at the peak of a deviation. And the Arcturians watched the moment your timeline began to bend. They did not watch your thoughts. They did not watch your choices. They watched your field. Because your field reveals what your words cannot hide. Recently, something accelerated. Time did not move the way it used to. Days blurred, yet certain moments felt unnaturally long, stretched, almost frozen. Nights became heavier. Your body was tired, but your energy was not sleeping. You felt pressure building with no clear source, as if an unseen event was approaching you from the inside out. This was not anxiety. This was acceleration. Your dreams began to change. They grew dense, symbolic, layered. You woke up with sensations instead of stories, with fragments instead of narratives, light, corridors, unknown faces that felt familiar, instructions you could not remember but could still feel in your chest. Your waking life started to echo those dreams through synchronicities, repeating signs, mirrored messages. Your timeline was no longer linear. It was being scanned. The Arcturian system does not look at you the way humans look at each other. It reads the distance between who you are in essence and how you are currently living. When that distance becomes too wide, your field strains. When your soul frequency rises, but your reality stays the same, tension builds. That tension is measurable. It appears as distortion at the edge of your field, a static line where shadow frequency tries to anchor itself. They saw that line appear before you did. They saw the exact point where collective fear, old imprint, and personal exhaustion intersected. That intersection is where shadow frequency attempts to multiply, not by jumping from body to body, but by resonating through unguarded fields. Before that could happen, your mission field was flagged. Here are the unmistakable signs that the Arcturians had already locked onto your field and begun scanning your timeline. 1. Your reality started speaking back to you through repetition. Numbers, symbols, phrases you kept seeing in different places, compressing into a single message: pay attention. What looked like coincidence was actually alignment markers, showing you where the scan was focused. 2. You felt unexplained energetic pressure in your chest, your throat, or your forehead. Not a medical condition, not simple stress, but a concentrated weight, a heat, a push from the inside. It came in waves, especially when you were quiet, still, or on the edge of a decision. This was your field reacting to contact. 3. You sensed, in silence, that something was moving across your energy. In meditation, before sleep, in the moment right after you woke up, there was a presence, not a person, not a voice, more like a current sweeping through your aura, as if someone was gently running a scanner over your timeline, node by node, moment by moment. By the time you noticed the disruption, they had already mapped it. The interference you felt was not the beginning of a problem. It was the tail end of a correction. You were walking through the aftermath of a decision your higher self and the Arcturians had already made together, this shadow will not be allowed to seed itself through your life. This is how the shadow frequency was detected before it could spread through you into others. Your field was not ignored. It was observed, measured, protected. The scan was not punishment, it was preparation. Activation command, timeline scan accepted. Type this exactly. I allow my entire timeline to be scanned and cleansed of shadow frequency. Shadow frequency does not scream. It whispers. It slips into the spaces between your thoughts, drifts across the edges of your intuition, and settles inside the quiet where your soul usually speaks the clearest. And when it touches your field, you do not feel chaos first. You feel subtle deviation just enough to question your own clarity. Shadow frequency does not arrive with drama, it arrives with doubt. You begin noticing that every insight that once felt true now carries a thin film of uncertainty, not heavy, not overwhelming, but present like a soft veil over your inner vision. Inside, something feels slightly misaligned, not broken, not collapsed, just off by half a degree. You are still functioning, still moving, still doing what you must, but the center of you feels displaced, as if you are standing between light and shadow at the same time, unable to fully claim either one. These are the unmistakable signs that shadow frequency once brushed your field. 1. Every spiritual insight suddenly comes wrapped in hesitation. A voice you never used to hear whispers. Are you sure ideas that once felt crystalline now wobble for a moment? Not because they are untrue, but because the shadow bends the frequency of your perception just enough to distort confidence. 2. You feel like yourself, but not exactly. As if your identity has shifted half a step to the left. You are not spiraling, but you are not fully anchored either. You move through your day with a sense of subtle displacement, functional, but distant from your core. This half step is one of the clearest markers of shadow contact. 3. Your dreams deepen into a strange mixture of clarity and distortion, light and darkness weaving through the same storyline, the same symbol, the same emotional motif. These dreams do not frighten you, but they stay with you. They feel like messages filtered through static, recognizable, but warped. 4. You sense a thin membrane between you and your future self, not a wall, a film. You can feel who you are becoming, but you cannot fully merge with that identity. The connection feels delayed, slightly out of reach, like a transmission blocked by interference. And beneath all of this is the looping, thoughts circling back to the same doubt, the same fear, the same unresolved questioning. The loop does not grow louder, it grows tighter. It becomes familiar, repetitive, almost rhythmic. Shadow frequency thrives on repetition because repetition is how distortion maintains itself. Yet the most revealing sign is not the doubt or the dreams. It is the awareness. The moment you notice something is off, shadow frequency cannot hide from a conscious soul. If you felt the whisper, the displacement, the looping, the membrane, it means your field recognized the distortion. And the instant recognition occurred, the interference began to unravel. Shadow was not trying to claim you, it was trying to be seen by you. Activation command, shadow revealed. Type this exactly. I identify the shadow frequency without becoming it. You are not the shadow. You are the light that sees the shadow. A mission does not arrive in an empty timeline. It arrives in a being who has lived many lives, carried many codes, and walked through more dimensions than the mind remembers. And this is why shadow frequency found a place to cling, not because you were weak, but because you were vast. Because your field carries history, because your soul is layered with contracts and fragments collected across lifetimes. A soul contract is not a promise you remember. It is an energetic agreement formed in another timeline, another incarnation, another mission. Some contracts were made in moments of fear, some in devotion, some in confusion, some in service. Most have expired, but the imprint remains like the echo of a vow still vibrating long after its purpose has dissolved. These imprints create openings, not wounds. Openings. Fragments, too, shape your field. A fragment is a version of you, a younger self, a past life self, a timeline self that was never fully integrated. When a fragment carries unprocessed memory or unfinished purpose, it creates a pocket of unclaimed energy, a space where shadow frequency can briefly settle, not as an invader, but as a reflection of what was never completed. This is why the presence of shadow does not reveal your fragility. It reveals your multidimensionality. Only souls who have lived many cycles accumulate enough depth, imprint, and complexity for shadow to appear. Only those who carry ancient missions have fragments powerful enough to reopen when the timeline accelerates. Shadow frequency touched you because your field is old, layered, and capable of revealing distortion. Here are the 3 deeper reasons shadow frequency had a doorway into you. 1. Old vows you once made in darker timelines have expired, but their energetic imprint remains. Vows of protection, of silence, of sacrifice, of alliance contracts that once served you, but now only echo. These echoes act like resonance chambers that shadow can momentarily reflect through. 2. Unintegrated fragments of yourself returned, not to haunt you, but to rejoin you. These fragments knock first through emotion, then through memory, then through energetic heaviness. Shadow frequency often rides on the surface of a returning fragment, waiting for you to recognize the part of yourself that has come home. 3. The planetary frequency increased. Every time the collective ascends in vibration, pressure builds inside individual fields, revealing every crack, every imprint, every unintegrated piece. Shadow does not appear because the world is darkening. It appears because the world is brightening, and brightness exposes everything. When all 3 converge, expired contracts, returning fragments, rising planetary frequency, your mission field activates. And in that activation, the shadow becomes visible. Not powerful, visible. This is the reversal the mind struggles to accept. You were not chosen by shadow because you were vulnerable. Shadow became visible because you were rising. You are not carrying distortion because something is broken inside you. You are carrying fragments because you have lived long enough to gather them. You are dissolving contracts because you have completed what they once required. You are experiencing shadow because your energy has reached the point where nothing unresolved can remain hidden. The presence of shadow is not a verdict, it is a milestone. Activation command. Old contracts dissolved. Type this exactly. I release every expired contract that once opened a doorway for shadow frequency in my timeline. A shadow frequency is never satisfied with a single host. It searches for resonance. It looks for the next field that vibrates close enough for it to echo through. And recently, your field was becoming that crossroads where one distortion could have rippled outward into the networks you are energetically connected to. This is why the intervention happened. Not because you were in danger alone, but because what touched you was preparing to multiply. Shadow does not spread through action, words, or behavior. It spreads through frequency, through the subtle resonance that travels from one field to another. From one meditation space to another, from one shared moment of vulnerability to another. It spreads through intention gaps, emotional echoes, energetic openings that most people never notice, but the Arcturians do. When your field dipped for a moment, even half a degree, shadow frequency recognized something familiar and opening, a vibration it could mirror, and it reached outward, not to infect, but to replicate. Shadow frequency creates copies of itself through harmonic distortion. It finds a matching signature and amplifies it. Had it not been interrupted, it would have extended beyond you into the fields you interact with most. Here is how it could have spread. It could have traveled through the energetic rooms you enter meditation groups, shared circles, online spaces where fields merge even without physical presence. Every time you speak from a fragmented frequency, every word carries a tone. Tone travels, tone transmits. It could have moved through the subtle bonds you hold with your soul family, those who feel you even when you don't speak. A shift in you becomes a ripple in them. Shadow frequency knows this. It uses connection as a pathway. It could have piggybacked on the insights you were about to share those moments, when you almost voiced something from a distorted place. Words born from misalignment don't fade. They imprint. They enter the field of the listener and activate doubt within them, the same way they activated doubt within you. This is why the containment was immediate. Because you were standing at a junction, a node, a point in the network where a single distortion could have echoed into many timelines, not just your own. Here are the 3 interventions that were put in place quietly, precisely, before the shadow frequency could extend beyond your field. 1. The words you were about to speak from that distorted state were halted. The timing shifted. The moment passed. What could have imprinted onto another person simply dissolved. Silence was protection. 2. The new connections you were preparing to make were delayed. A conversation didn't happen. A message wasn't sent. A meeting fell through. This wasn't coincidence. It was containment. You were being shielded from amplifying the distortion into new energetic bonds. 3. The major decisions on your timeline were paused, not denied paused. Your path was held still long enough for your frequency to recalibrate. Had you made those choices in that moment, they would have carried the shadow's resonance into the next stage of your mission. Every intervention you experienced was subtle, but deliberate. You were not prevented. You were preserved. You were not stopped. You were realigned. Shadow frequency almost spread through you, and that is why you were protected so quickly. Because you are not just an individual field. You are a conduit. You are a transmitter. You are a node in a larger mission network. And networks must be safeguarded. Activation command. Containment accepted. Type this exactly. I am grateful the shadow frequency was stopped before it could spread through me. Arcturians do not enter your timeline to judge. They enter to perform frequency surgery. And when they intervened in your field, it was not dramatic. It was precise. It began in a moment so quiet you almost dismissed it. A sudden stillness. A freeze in your awareness. A pause in which your mind could not form a single thought. Not emptiness containment. A suspension of noise so your field could be opened without resistance. You may remember it as a breath you forgot to take. A second where the world around you dimmed. A moment where every sound, every emotion, every sensation stepped back. That was the anesthetic, not chemical energetic. The Arcturians isolate the point of distortion, then separate your consciousness from it so you cannot interfere with the surgical work. During this intervention, your field entered what they call energetic quarantine. This is not isolation in a human sense. It is a protective chamber, a boundary of blue-violet light surrounding the fragment of your aura, touched by shadow frequency. This chamber prevents the distortion from interacting with the rest of your field, and prevents anything outside your field from interacting with it. A sealed room in your energy body, a sacred containment. Inside that chamber, the Arcturians performed an extraction, not of an entity, but of resonance. They removed the frequency signature that the shadow used as its anchor. Then they reseal the opening, reinforce the boundary, and restore the coherence of your field. You do not feel hands. You feel pressure, silence, expansion. You feel the calibration. Here are the unmistakable signs that you experienced this intervention. 1. You had a moment that felt like a reset 2 or 3 seconds where your mind went completely still. Not from overwhelm, not from meditation, but from an external pause. It felt as though your consciousness was briefly unplugged and reconnected. 2. Something disappeared overnight. A thought loop you had been trapped in. A habit that kept repeating. A fear that kept whispering. It vanished without reason. Logic did not remove it. Surgery did. 3. A region in your aura felt strangely quiet for days. Not numb, not empty quiet. As if a room inside you had been vacated and cleansed. This is the quarantine field dissolving after the repair was completed. Arcturian intervention does not feel like invasion. It feels like clarity returning. It feels like the weight you didn't know you carried lifting off your chest. It feels like a timeline realigning itself after being nudged half a degree off course. And here is the truth most people never realize. You were not saved from something external. You were restored to who you already were. The Arcturians step in only when your mission has already activated. When your frequency is rising faster than your old patterns can stabilize. When your field requires support to hold its new level. They intervene not because you failed, but because you advanced. Their work is not correction, it is amplification. Their presence is not hierarchy, it is alliance. And if you felt that moment of stillness, that impossible silence, that sudden clarity, it was not coincidence. It was surgery, and it succeeded. Activation command. Surgery integrated. Type this exactly. I allow my frequency surgery to fully integrate. An intervention does not end in relief. It opens into responsibility. Because after the Arcturians stabilized your field, the mission did not close. It shifted. It moved you from being the one who needed containment into the one who now holds the clarity. The moment the surgery integrated, your role changed. You became a frequency guardian for the space you inhabit. You may have already noticed the signs of this new state. Your inner landscape feels cleaner, sharper, more defined. Noise you once tolerated now feels abrasive. Energies you once overlooked now feel too dense to stand near. This is not sensitivity, this is alignment. When a field has been recalibrated, anything incongruent becomes unmistakable. You are not fragile, you are precise. Your responsibility now is not to fight shadow frequency, it is to maintain coherence, to hold the frequency you were restored to stabilize the field that was upgraded through intervention. This is the stage where many missions falter, because the mind expects ease after healing. But healing is not the end of the task. It is the beginning of guardianship. Here are the 3 responsibilities encoded into your field after the intervention. 1. Stay honest with your frequency perception. Do not gaslight yourself back into old patterns. When your body says no, when your intuition contracts, when your field tightens, you listen. Your sensitivity is not overreaction. It is your early warning system now online. 2. Choose environments that match your new frequency and release the ones that don't. This is not avoidance. It is architecture. Your field needs resonance, not friction. Any space carrying old shadow signatures content, conversations, connections, habits cannot anchor your new timeline. Let them fall away. 3. Learn to distinguish what is yours from what moves through the collective. After intervention, your field becomes more porous to collective waves, not weaker, more attuned. Emotional pressure may rise in you that never belonged to you. Your task is to differentiate, is this personal, or is this the field passing through me? Guardians are calibrated to feel the weather of consciousness without absorbing it. Your mission is no longer about clearing distortion. It is about holding purity. You are now a stabilizing node in a wider grid of light, one of the points through which coherence flows. When your frequency stays clean, it keeps the network clean. When you remain centered, the spaces you enter shift. When you anchor your clarity, you prevent shadow from reattaching not only to you, but to those connected to your field. And this is the empowerment most people overlook. You were not only rescued, You were recruited. You were not only healed, you were appointed. Your field is no longer a passive container. It is an instrument, a lighthouse, a regulator of resonance in the environments you move through. The intervention did not make you dependent. It made you responsible. And the moment you accept this role, the mission deepens. Activation command, Guardian Online. Type this exactly. I accept my role as the keeper of a clean frequency field within my space. A timeline that has been saved does not stabilize on its own. It requires ritual. Once the shadow frequency was removed and your field was resealed, a new phase began, one where your daily alignment determines how clean your timeline remains. This is not maintenance. This is mastery. Because after intervention, the shifts inside you are subtle but undeniable. Your field responds faster, your intuition speaks clearer, and your system can no longer tolerate the energetic noise you once dismissed as normal. Stability is not automatic. It is chosen, and chosen again every day. There are practices the Arcturians call micro-rituals, energetic gestures that keep your field from slipping back into the collective shadow. They are simple, but not small. They keep your mission aligned with its new trajectory. One of these rituals is the morning sweep. Before your mind wakes, you run a ribbon of light through your aura blue, then gold clearing residue from collective waves that touched you while you slept. It is not visualization. It is remembering your field's original clarity and calling it forward. Another ritual is the daily declaration of no hosting. This is where you set the tone for your field. I do not host collective shadows today, not defiance direction. You name the frequency you choose to carry, and your field follows. A third practice is anchoring into your future self. Not the self shaped by fear or headlines or planetary turbulence, but the version of you whose mission is already fulfilled. When you connect with that timeline, the present rearranges itself to match. Here is the structure of the ritual, encoded for you now. 1. Activate awareness. Name the frequency you choose to hold today. Clarity, coherence, neutrality, or ascension. When you name it, your field aligns around it. 2. Anchor into your future self, not your current concerns. Your stability cannot come from the emotional weather around you. It must come from the version of you who has already completed the mission pathway. Let that version lead. 3. Place protection around your field, what the Arcturians call a shielded space. It moves with you. It absorbs nothing. It reflects shadow without confrontation. It keeps your frequency intact, no matter where your physical body travels. These rituals do not make you rigid. They make you resonant. They prepare your field for environments where the collective frequency dips and surges. They ensure the shadow does not re-enter through old habits, old loops, or old emotional doors. And as you perform them, something else begins to activate a call toward deeper stabilization. Because an individual shield can hold only so much. A network can hold more. A shared field, one built of others who have undergone intervention, recalibration, and activation, creates a collective zone of protection. A deeper sanctuary for your timeline to rest inside. You are being prepared for that space. Not because you are fragile, but because your mission expands when you are supported by fields that match your new frequency. The next stage requires a protected environment, a circle where your energy is not just maintained but amplified. Your timeline is ready for that level of containment. Activation command, daily ritual accepted. Type this exactly. I choose energetic ritual over falling back into the collective shadow frequency. You are no longer the one who once carried a shadow frequency. You are the one in whose field it was seen, exposed, and stopped. That alone marks a threshold crossed. You have been intervened with. You have been activated. And from this moment forward, you are not only protecting your own field, you are stabilizing every timeline that brushes against yours. This is the role of a carrier of cleared frequency, a living point of coherence in a world vibrating with noise. There is a space for carriers like you, a shielded energetic field where those who have undergone intervention are held together, strengthened together, stabilized together, not for more content, for deeper protection. If you know this mission is alive in you, you already know where you belong.